And welcome everybody here to the X-Bomb Sports Live Show. My name is Andrew Valentine. I hope you're all having a most wonderful and fantastic Friday because we are coming to you live here from the Illinois Media School here in the O'Hare campus. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been quite the week if you have not noticed. A lot has been dropping even as of recent, and we have so much to go to. Again, hope everybody's doing well out there, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're catching us live right now. And if you are, you're probably catching us on the YouTube and on the Twitch side. That's youtube.com/xbombsports and twitch.tv/xbombsports. We are simulcasting on both those right now every Friday, ladies and gentlemen. And as well, too, if you guys want to check us out anymore, on the social media side, we are on XBomb Sports, at XBomb Sports, on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and, of course, TikTok as well. And if you guys want to find any more of our opportunities to be able to talk to us more so, we are at the email that is xbsportsofficial@gmail.com for any questions, comments, things like that. And, of course, as always, ladies and gentlemen, I'm joined once again. He's no longer here last week, but he's back once again after his, I don't know, debutante in ISU, I guess.
Yeah, I was checking out FCS football, man.
Sure. Okay, that's what we're going with. Scotty Kiefer's back, ladies and gentlemen. Scotty, how you doing, man?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm back from recovering for drinking in ISU. But checked out some FCS football. Good vibes.
Yeah, it's a good school. It's a good
fun.
school. I should hope so. I sent a few of those kids over there. You're welcome. So, and obviously he is now recovered from our Bad Karma Wrestling, which, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, Bad Karma Wrestling, you should definitely check that out.
Don't watch it. Just tore into me for the whole show.
Just stop it. Just because they have an opinion and you don't agree with said opinion, you get so upset, and that's, of course, how the internet works, because we know that's how it goes. So relax.
There's a difference between they have an opinion and
it's not about you. It's about what they feel. It's about what they feel is their opinion on the message.
I leave for 1 week and I'm under a microscope and I'm underneath a scope when I come back. So everyone's targeting out.
Do you think that you ever left that microscope? Seriously, come on, man. Be for real. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, definitely go check out, though, Bad Karma Wrestling. Our boy No Gimmick 6 Johnson and David Double D Dykstra. They just put on a fantastic show. They did all the great works talking about WWE and AEW for the past week, so please make sure to go check that out, ladies and gents. And with that, also, too, Bad Karma Wrestling, Jesus. Blow the Whistle is going to be going live here soon. It'll be my God, I'm all over the place. Tyler Beautiful, myself, and Frankie Oliveri will be joining us as well. And we might get some other guests, you never know. But we'll be going live here very soon, around probably 2 o'clock-ish or so. Be on the lookout for that on sportsnowchicago.com. Scotty, you ready to hit this, man? Because we got a lot of news to tear into. All right. I'm just taking that as the yes from here on in. All right. So, a lot of you guys were hitting me with this one since yesterday. Obviously, it's kind of the top story that's been riding around in sports all day long. And just brief on this one, right? I'm sure you all know it. Head coach of the Portland Trail Blazers, Chauncey Billups, arrested, as well as Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier, assistant coach for the Cleveland Cavaliers, Damon Jones, also arrested, amongst 30 others, apparently, in connection with gambling inquiries, apparently on a federal level, from what we understand, all in connection, apparently, with the mafia, that were illegal poker games being run, as well as information being transmitted about NBA games towards bettors. So definitely came out of nowhere. A surprise for sure when the story hit. I'm sure many of us were kind of like, wait, what's going through my feed right now? I mean, I follow Shams and I follow Scheffler, and when they both came out at the same time as a tweet, I was perplexed. I was shocked in some cases, initially, because eventually my mind settled to, okay, we kind of saw this one coming, though, right? Like, this was something that I think, if you're smart about thinking about this, you kind of knew this was coming down the pipeline, right? with sports gambling becoming legal across more and more states, at this point, I think it's almost every state except for like a handful of them at this point, right? This was, I think, something that we were looking at bound to happen because we had seen it already happening from just a few months prior with the Jonte Porter situation. Gilbert Arenas, we had reported on, obviously being arrested, right? And this was something we saw coming down the pipeline. And Terry Rozier was already under investigation as it was for the incident that occurred when he was with the Charlotte Hornets in 2023, where he only played about 10 minutes or so, and then he got pulled out, right, or whatever it was. It's just it was all stuff that you can kind of see where it was leading up to. So to say I was shocked beyond belief that this was a story that was happening, it really wasn't. Now, these are two separate things going on, right? There is the illegal poker games that is one case. It's like Operation something or other having to do with cards, right? It's one thing. And then it's like Operation something or other with the information that was given out, right? And, of course, then all of a sudden you use the term of the mafia being associated with it, and there is a lot of there's a lot of, obviously, that's like a loaded term, right? But obviously the FBI, the director of the FBI, Kash Patel, feels that there was enough evidence here with his team to warrant that there was need to mention it. So, and we're talking about like the five families. Like these are the old school mafia, like they ran New York kind of people, right? And it's just, it's like a movie kind of, like you don't,
we're legit talking about The Sopranos here.
Yeah, exactly. Like this is like an episode of The Sopranos, and you'd be like, so this is like season 13 or whatever it was. I've lost track. It's a great show, by the way. You should definitely watch it. Great show. But it's just like, no, this isn't real. But then you go, oh no, wait, this is something we definitely could have seen coming, because folks, let's not pretend like this has not been happening in sports since the dawn of sports, right?
I mean, even just in other sports. I mean, we talked about on this show a couple months ago about the Guardians.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not anything new.
No.
This, like you said, dawn of sports. I mean,
boxing all the way back in the day.
Boxing is probably still doing it.
Yeah, more than likely.
That's the reason why I don't like boxing.
No, and I understandably so. I mean, I love it, but I understand where people go, why are the cards, like, why are they so close? Why is it a draw? And I'm like, yeah, you know what? When it gets to that point, I can totally tell.
I mean, there were 7 White Sox players that were involved with it.
One of the most infamous ones.
8. It wasn't 8. Joe Jackson wasn't involved. It was 7. But I will stand on that ground.
Clear their names, come on.
Clear his name. He's the only one that needs to be
his name, yes,
But, like,
please.
this is not anything new. This happens. And it's funny seeing some of the receipts because, like, people on Twitter are like, I'm at the Chauncey Billups charity poker event.
They are blowing it up. They are digging so far back into their Twitters, too, to try and see if they could just dig up whatever, like, evidence they can.
Did you see what Billups said after the game?
Yeah.
On Thursday?
I did, yeah. It's
or on Wednesday, I guess, when they played.
Yeah, it would be Wednesday. Everything about this is just
movie-like.
Yeah, it is. It really is. But it's just like, because I got emails from people being like, "How surprised are you about this?" And I go, I'm going to be honest, I'm not that shocked, because once we knew sports gambling was getting legalized, this was something that was going to enter the territory and the realm, right? Now, the high-stakes poker thing, I'm not too bothered by that. Like, that's...
Yeah, like, that's happened,
It's still a concerning thing, don't get me wrong, but this is like, listen, the technology that's being used here to kind of, like, set these guys up to be like, oh, man, you're really on a roll, and then all of a sudden you go, man, how am I down? Like, this is where you've got to understand, don't put yourself in that position.
I mean,
do your due diligence.
I don't really have a problem with that, because then you have, like, CBS doing the Dana White interview where they show that he's doing $400,000 hands, goes down $700,000,
right,
walks out 1.2 up.
Exactly. Like, yeah. I mean, and
that is not that big of a deal.
Right. Now, this is a big deal, though.
It's the gambling sports side of it.
Right. And look, it's still a big deal because obviously it's fraud on the level of they're trying to put these guys down. You're raising them up and then all of a sudden putting them down. So then this way you're like, you have a debt against us. So let's talk, right? Because that's the other side of this where it's kind of a bit more concerning, right? It's the fact that there is information that's coming out then about injuries on players, who's playing, who's sitting out for this, that, and the other. That's where Damon Jones is coming out. That's where potentially there's a lot of people saying, well, Chauncey Billups is only in the high-stakes poker, but is he then connected potentially to giving away information as the coach? Terry Rozier, we know, is under the investigation for, hey, you played 10 minutes in a Charlotte game and then you came out. Why? Like that was a whole weird thing, right? It's all of that kind of stuff that is more concerning, right? Because that is the fixing of games, and that's where the NBA, I'm sure they knew there was a hole there because you had seen it already with Jonte Porter, with other guys before, right? There was all these kind of guys that were under investigation beforehand. Now it's coming to light, and that's where you go, okay, is this now, and I've talked about this before, I've said this on the show before, like, is there going to be a point now where professional sports and sports gambling are going to have to try to see where the line in the sand can be drawn to try and say, do we have to separate what's the best way to try and make sure the two worlds don't clash? And the problem is that I don't know if there is a way to do it, because that's just one makes business off the other, right? Like without sports betting, I don't know how many people would really be watching sports as much as they do now, right? It has raised television to exponentially, right? People are watching now more than ever because of the fact that they can bet and they want to see their bets hit.
To be fair, we're also watching every sport on networks sponsored by gambling.
That's true too.
I mean, we get gambling ads throughout it all the time. We have gambling sponsors on jerseys. I mean, it's just become accustomed to it.
Exactly.
Right? I mean, you have half the nation playing on FanDuel Sports Network. You have, hey, UFC this weekend, bet on DraftKings. We're an official partner with them.
Right.
FanDuel ads up on the Guardians rafters when they're, gambling on the field.
Right. When you have two players under investigation and now are looking like they're going to be banned for life, it sounds like. And I know they're trying to fight the Dominican League that they're trying to play in for the Winter League. Or they're banned from the Winter League. They can't play Winter League ball.
Yeah, there's other leagues.
Yeah, they're fighting in the Dominican. They're not yet banned in the MLB, but unfortunately it looks like it might be trending that way. Emmanuel Clase and Julio Ortiz. Mm-hmm. Correct? Julio Ortiz, yes. Yeah. But yeah, no, listen, this is something that we knew. It's going on. It's going to probably continue to go on. What is the way to be able to try and make sure that the punishments are, because there's a lot of people being named in this indictment, right? And then they're not naming people, but they're player 1 and player 2 and coach 1 and coach 2, and it's like, well, we can kind of connect the lines. Like player 1 is LeBron James, and people are going, he's in this thing, and it's like, he's named in it. Yes, he's named in it because apparently word got out about
his information got leaked.
Yes, his information got leaked, but people are now being like, "Oh my God, he's in this thing." Like, no. But this again, it speaks to the volume and to the level of concern, I think, for some people, because I think we want to believe that sports has a purity to it, right? It's an escape for many of us, but I think, and if we're all honest with ourselves, in some capacity, at some point in time in history, there has been a level of cheating in some way, shape, or form, right? It's happened in college basketball already beforehand with Boston College and Henry Hill, a.k.a. the guy who was the star of Goodfellas, right? Or the man who it's written about, right? You have the Arizona State situation with Headache Smith, where he was gambling money and then he was point shaving himself in order to make sure that he could make up his gambling debts. You have a lot of these moments that have already taken place. Like we mentioned, boxing has a number of these things, dating all the way back to the earliest days of when people were throwing fists at one another.
And
right?
to be fair, there's also the notion if you're not cheating, you're not trying to win. I mean, like,
if you ask Eddie Guerrero, yes.
There are legal ways to cheat in sports. And
absolutely.
We applaud that. I mean, look at baseball. Baseball is full of cheating that we No, I'm being
No,
serious. That
no,
we applaud them.
you're right.
You can steal signs.
Yes.
That's a form of cheating, and we applaud it as long as it's not with outside sources like
Right.
technology, like with watches, cameras, that type of deal.
Trash
But
cans.
they advertise all the time, hey, the guy on second base is literally showing where the ball's going to be going.
Yeah.
Credit to him.
Right.
Like, it's just a part of the sport that we've kind of accustomed to in certain areas of it.
No, absolutely. And that kind of thing, I think, is one we can all tolerate, right? It's then when this moment happens and you hear guys are giving away information that could affect you making money. I think too, what makes us, the regular person, more upset is that we're the ones not getting the information, right? It's these dudes who have hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars, and some even way more than that, who are getting this information so they could get even richer, right? And then all of a sudden, these guys who have, I mean, listen, I don't know how involved Chauncey Billups is with all this stuff, except for maybe the betting stuff at poker. But you think to yourself, this guy's made over $100 million in his career. He's a Hall of Famer, all that stuff.
Yeah, but there's all that thing that people burn through their money.
And,
so,
and
like,
that's
you know,
and
there's
that's
that type of deal.
Yeah.
That's a whole different story that's aside of gambling. I think I like the point that you brought up, like where do we draw the line with it? I want to point out about who's doing it right, the Premier League, because the Premier League is currently trying to ban gambling sponsors on jerseys.
I did see that, yeah.
They are almost successful through it. There's like, I think, a couple more teams that still have to get through it, but now they have to change it come next year. They've had teams have to re-release jerseys because they put a gambling sign and they have to get rid of it. Like they are doing it the right way, and I wish other sports, especially here, could do the same.
Yeah,
and that's coming from me, who you call me a degenerate gambler. But like,
I don't call you that, by the way.
Like, you get what I'm saying? Like,
absolutely,
they're doing a good side of it, trying to at least not put it in the limelight.
Right.
While over here in America, like I mentioned, half the nation plays on FanDuel Sports Network.
Right. Well, I've mentioned this before. How many times will you get the advertisement that shows, or the video that shows the guy who has been like, "Oh, I used $10, I won $1,500 on a bet," and you know they're trying to say like this is a real person, and maybe he is, but that idea is a fabricated one, because how many people are saying, I've got $10, I'm going to put together a 10-leg parlay and I'm going to win $10,000. I see this constantly.
To be fair, I've gone 10 to 140 twice this week, so
and that's fine. I mean, listen, I'm not saying you don't gamble responsibly, of course.
Yes, gamble when you can afford to lose.
Absolutely. Do not get romanticized. Because I know some, I'm not going to say names. I know some of these guys who are in these advertisements who are making $200,000-$300,000 on a bet, but you have to realize they're betting probably $10,000, $1,000.
Yeah,
They are betting more than they have more money than you probably do to work with. If you have that money to work with and you want to go for that, by all means, that is up to you. But you have to recognize when the line. I used to be. I will fully admit, a degenerate gambler. When it first came out that you could get the apps, I was all over them. And then I realized, oh man, I'm spending so much money. I don't have anything left in my bank account, barely. I was burning through cash. And now that I've stopped, I mean, I'm still burning through cash because of bills. That doesn't help. But I have more in my bank account than I certainly would have if I gambled. And you could say, well, what if you hit big gambling? That would be great. And that's why I only do it sparingly.
And to be fair, we're not also saying gambling is terrible, because like on a small scale it is good. Like me, my max is 10. I just made 140 twice this week.
There you go.
Great. If Andrew got a gambling sponsorship right now to go with Prize Picks, Underdog, FanDuel, any of those companies, he would take it in a heartbeat.
Absolutely.
For the money of it.
Absolutely.
You know, and it's not that it's a bad thing, but when it's involved with the output of sports,
yes,
with how games are being determined, how games are being played, that's where you draw the line.
Absolutely. And by the way, you brought up soccer. I mean, we can go down the list of how many years soccer has been around. I can tell you this right now. Almost every league in some case in their history has experienced some sort of the gamblers are involved in the games and they're affecting the outcome.
Juventus, point deduction.
How much was that?
Come on.
That was a story. everybody was like, they're connected. They're all connected. AC Milan's connected. Everybody, like, and that was full on like, oh, the mob's in this too. And some of them, by the way, these families that we're talking about that are involved in this. Like, to what extent can we figure, like you said, though, Scotty, finding a way to separate the teams and the gambling, separate the advertisement is probably the best way to do it. Because unfortunately, at this point, the genie's out of the bottle, and it's going to be impossible, I think, to be able to put it in, more or less. So, look, as this story continues going forward, I'm going to be interested to see who else has been arrested in this, what other names potentially come out of this that are currently involved in it. We know a few of them now. We will probably find out more. I haven't had the chance to read the indictment. I know many have already been able to pour through it. I haven't had the chance to. I'm intrigued to find out, though, what names will be revealed as the situation comes out, or how far this will actually go, because according to Kash Patel, this is apparently only the start, I think he said, right? I believe he said it was like, this is only the beginning or something of that nature, which I'm intrigued by, but this is not a political show, but I'm always a little weary with this political group that we've got going on here as to what exactly is the extent. Again, I don't care what your political ties are. I'm just a little weary on it. What is the realism of this situation?
No, it's the government involved in something. I mean, you got to be a little worried about it.
It is.
I will say this. Moving on to the next topic.
Yes,
it's odd timing that Shohei Ohtani is going to Toronto. When the FBI's in LA and all over.
Yeah.
It's
speaking of gambling in sports. Yeah. We've got a World Series starting today, folks.
With a guy with a gambling problem.
Yeah. Allegedly.
Well.
Allegedly. We have to say allegedly. It said it was an interpreter. Never was he implicated.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Allegedly.
I know what it looks like. I think we all probably have our opinion of what it might have been.
I mean, to be fair, if it looks like a cow, it's probably a cow.
If it's quacking like a duck and it's walking like a duck, it might be a turkey, maybe, but maybe you would need glasses. I don't know. Yes, look, World Series Game 1 is tonight. The Dodgers sweep the Brewers in what I can only describe as the moment that I have to claim that Shohei Ohtani is the GOAT of GOATs.
Let me just say,
debatable, of course, but I've never seen anything like that.
Let me just say,
yeah.
Shout out the Milwaukee Brewers for their World Series beating the Cubs. Like, that is such a small market franchise thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not even because the Cubs lost. I'm not saying that because.
Right.
But it is the most small market team thing.
We beat our rivals.
Beating your rivals in the postseason, in the playoffs, is your World Series.
Right.
Credit to them.
Yeah, it was. And by the way, we've talked about this on other shows before. If you would have held up the W when you when you won, that would have been, I think, more of a disrespect than holding up the L flag. Like the L flag.
The L thing fully involved. Like, I've seen worse in soccer, bro.
Oh, absolutely.
That's soft
absolutely. But I'm just saying, like, you would have done more damage with the W.
I was on the show last week to make fun of this, and Frankie was probably on here complaining about it. So
no, he wasn't really complaining about it. I'm sure he had his thoughts for sure. Blow the whistle, he definitely did, of course. But he was on the same. We were on the same agreement when we were on the rise on WRNM 1410 last Saturday. He actually said it would have meant more if we held up the W, because the L doesn't really mean much to them holding it up. So
yeah, because it's not their real flag. It's like a spoof of
the
W
exactly.
Flag.
It's a ha-ha, we're making fun of you. It's like, yeah, but that's not their thing. So, but yes, the Brewers, obviously, I mean, Shohei, 3 home runs, 3 for 3, 10 strikeouts. We're never going to see another performance like that, I think, ever again.
Best single game performance ever.
And that's why I have to call him the GOAT of GOATs now. Like, I don't know how he's a unicorn. I don't know if we're ever going to see another baseball player like him. Maybe, but on this level, this good, this big, that effective as a hitter and a pitcher, that's rare. That's so rare. And they're taking on, I'm shocked, the Toronto Blue Jays, who found a way to get it done thanks to George Springer blasting a 3-run homer to secure their victory and put themselves in the World Series. And this has now become a very
interesting.
That's it. It's interesting. It's intriguing because there's storylines here that people I think are not recognizing with. Look, this was one of the teams that Ohtani was possibly going to go to originally when he came out of Japan, and then when he hit the free agent market.
I was here in the back reporting that,
yes,
Shohei's going to Toronto
exactly.
right now. Like, I think because we were live, that day we were thinking the Shohei news is going to break while Andrew was live.
We had a lower third
and
set
so
for that.
I was ready. I'm looking it up. Oh, Shohei's on his way to Toronto right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's just intriguing because, you know, you think of the Dodgers, they're the high-esteemed team, the powerhouse team, but, like, for some reason you kind of think this Toronto team they kind of have a chance when it really shouldn't seem like they do.
Yeah.
But based off how they've been playing, you're like, you know what? They actually have a chance.
And that's the weird thing. I've labeled this like you could see a meteor versus the sun. Like, there feels like there should be no chance for Toronto to do it, but it's like what if they do make it past that atmosphere?
It's not
what
even
if
that.
they don't burn up?
It's not even that. It's like, you know what? If they do this, they could win.
They could.
If Vlad and Bo show out to help George,
yeah,
they could do it.
There is a.
If the pitching staff comes together, yeah, they could.
It feels like a less than 1% chance, I'm sure, but it is not. That's the thing, though, is that the less than 1% chance is still a chance, and this Toronto team really has done a fantastic job saying, okay, look, the pitching in some points has certainly been down, but our offense kicked in at the right moment. Vlad playing like an all-timer. Like, and the fact that this kid, remember, signed at 16, the expectation for him was he's going to be many thought he was possibly overrated. Oh, he's just dad's kid. He's Vlad Jr. He's not Vladimir Guerrero Sr. And he has
a position for a while. They wanted to move him off of first, move him to third, then move him back. Like, it was weird.
Is he a DH? Should he do this? And he has just become a guy that I think you have to put him in the top 5 conversation of baseball players right now. He every bit possibly maybe even better than his father. You could argumentative. I know his dad was good. I know he was good. Trust me. He's a Hall of Famer for sure.
Bo Bichette, Canadian boy for the Canadian team going out there. You know? Like,
that's unbelievable.
Like,
I mean,
that's nuts.
Yeah. And he's been hurt, and now
he's been hurt, but he's been like their rock in that organization.
Yeah,
the Canadian guy on the Canadian team gonna be there. Big market free agents don't come to Toronto, but George Springer does. Yeah, George Springer moves over.
That was the shocker.
Anthony Santander does.
Yeah,
you know, like there's been a movement in Toronto that's led up to this.
You got to attribute too, I mean, to what that front office has done. And I mean, you went and got a manager who he's finally making a World Series, which is awesome. It's awesome that, I mean, Don Mattingly has been dying for a World Series because he never got one. But this is his moment now, finally as a manager. And he has done what I think we all have seen. He is an incredible baseball manager. He knows the game. And he embraces analytics as well as I know how baseball works. And that's what's been great for Toronto. He did it in Miami. And everybody said, oh, it's just kind of it's a one-off in Miami. But no, he is good at this. He understands how this works. And listen, I think you are going to get, I'm unfortunately going to give the Dodgers it in 5. But I would not be shocked if Toronto did find a way with impressive outings by like Gausman and maybe Bieber, right, where they show up in the right moment. Or you Savage maybe here in Game 1, right? I mean, it's in Toronto.
And also, to be fair, the Dodgers just lost maybe their best bullpen arm in Viega.
Yeah.
Because it was some family matter, I guess he has to leave for.
He's out for personal matter is what they're calling it.
I don't remember what it was.
Yeah.
But, like, he's I mean, I watched a lot of Dodgers games this year. He's a big piece of that bullpen. He's a
Absolutely.
really good late inning guy. He's a great, hey, need you to shut down when they got runners on base in the 7th. Like, he is that. He's one of the, I would say, one of the 2 go-to guys in that Dodgers bullpen.
Yeah.
So him being out is definitely going to mean a lot to that. Still going to say Dodgers in 5, but, like, man, Toronto's has a whole country behind them, and who knows what they could do.
This is where the Dodgers have everything to lose, and Toronto has nothing to lose in this. So
I don't know if the Dodgers have anything to lose because they're just going to be back next year, man.
It feels like that. It does.
Everyone's locked up.
This is a team that we understand is built for the playoffs, right? They just need 90-plus wins, get to the regular season, right? Get into the playoffs. We know what they're going to be able to do. But this could turn into a good series. If you're watching 2 of the best players in baseball smashing home runs, right? If you're watching good pitching happening, if you're seeing a tight-knit game back and forth, in this first 2 games, if we see, like, let's say Snell take the first one here, and then Gausman take game 2 next,
it'll be Gausman and Yamamoto game 2.
That's what it's looking like.
And then Bieber, Ohtani game 3.
That's what it'll be looking like, I think, for game 3.
Those are 3 great games pitching-wise.
Absolutely. And, who knows what magic comes out of that? Yeah, and that's the beauty of this, like, World Series is that anything can happen. Yes, there is an overwhelming favorite, of course. The sun looks like it's going to burn up. But what if this is the meteorite that could do it? That could rip through that giant ball of gas and survive? It's possible. It doesn't feel like it should happen.
Dave Roberts does like to overmanage sometimes.
He does. He has known to make mistakes. Don Mattingly, yes, same thing. Obviously, every manager makes mistakes. But Dave Roberts at times has sometimes put the Dodgers in position where you go, oh, man, is that right? Should they have done that? Like, the man is clearly incredible for what he does. But
Hall of Fame manager.
Absolutely. But like you said, one of their trusted bullpen arms is out. Do you feel confident going with the guys that you have? Are those guys going to be able to go in there against Vlad and Springer and feel confident saying, we can get these guys out? Because we know what those guys are capable of, and they're hitting the crud out of the ball right now.
We say this, and Vlad strikes out every single at-bat.
Please don't do that, Vlad. Come on, man. Come on. Don't do this to me, man. I just don't really want to see a sweep. I'm really hoping that this is more competitive.
Give me 5 at least.
If anything, give me one. Give me
one win in Toronto.
Yes, one win in Toronto.
I don't think they're gonna win tonight.
Yeah.
But game 2, just destroy Yoshinobu, please. I just want one good game in Toronto, with all of the old Blue Jay guys in there, sitting there watching the game. Like, they bring back Joey Bats, and he's just sitting there watching. They're hitting home runs, and they got the horn going off. Like, that's what I want. I want one game where Toronto at home can, feel fantastic and, like they did in Game 7.
Absolutely. This is going to be fun. This is going to be fun. Baseball is hitting a pinnacle right now. I really thought, a lot of people thought maybe this was going to be kind of like a wash of a World Series. I think, be it Blue Jays, Mariners, whichever one you were getting in this, I think it would have been, if you got the Mariners, Seattle was going to, like I said, I got a buddy in Seattle. He's like, if they would have made it, the city was going to go ballistic. It was going to happen.
Now just a whole country is, so.
Yeah, it's the thing. You got an entire, not a territory, not just a city, a whole country versus Los Angeles.
Well, future territory.
Well, yes. Can they do it? I'm intrigued to say. I'm not as optimistic as I'd like to be, but I'm as optimistic as I possibly can, with lowered expectations to rise if things brighten up. Best of luck to you, Blue Jays. Dodgers don't need any luck. You got all the luck in the world. You bought it all. All right. Let's get to the NFL. Quick hits here, ladies and gentlemen. As always, we take your questions for the NFL. Mix them in here, throw them in here, talk about what's going on here in the NFL with your story. So, first one we got, this came from our guy Carl. Well, it really came from a mess of people. But Carl, you were the first one to email me with, and he goes, How did Denver do it? How did Denver pull this off? How did Denver be able to make this happen? Why did they do this? Why did they break my heart? He's a Giants fan, if you can't tell. I don't know what to tell you, Carl, other than Bo Nix and Sean Payton found a way to right the ship in the fourth quarter against the Giants team that I think we have to say is still fairly bad, has components to it that are good, but it's pretty clear that there are holes in the defense, and I think the Broncos exploited it perfectly to put the ball down the field. As much as they did in the time that they had, the way that they did was impressive.
To be fair, the Broncos play like the 2025 Jets the first 3 quarters of the game, but then in the fourth quarter they play like the 2013 Broncos. So, like, I mean, that's just their whole season.
It is pretty spot on.
I mean, to be honest, I'm really starting to question Brian Daboll. I gave him some slack for some of the earlier ones, but I think that's where it's going to start coming down to. I think Daboll is a great coordinator because that offense is doing fantastic.
Yeah.
As an entire head coach, I don't know how you feel about it and how you're seeing it. To me, as an entire head coach, he just doesn't fit that world.
I'm in the same boat, actually. I think he is. I think there is a capability of him to be a head coach, but I think there is. I think more with Brian Daboll, you're seeing that he is an offensive visionary who, managing skill-wise for the team, it's just not going to be there, and that's what's suffering right now, right? It's the fact that they don't have a focal point for the defense that they can really kind of pinpoint on, considering they had, the third overall pick, who I know has been injured, but Brian Burns is playing well. The defensive backs are not bad necessarily. They've actually had a few guys that are really stepping up. It's just a matter of there's no one that's seeming to take the helm and be the captain of that team, right? Defensively, they have their coordinator, they have their head coach in Brian Daboll, but he doesn't seem to be communicating with them at all, at least on a head coach level. So it feels like what we probably had felt with the Bears if you were a Bears fan back with Matt Nagy, right? Where he's focused on the offense and the defense is doing their thing, but it doesn't feel like the two sides are really together as one team.
It's definitely seemed like that, and it also seems like that with the players. A lot of the Giants players were asked if they're fully bought into the system this week. And it was like, that's like, you don't really want to hear those questions. Right? Because you're not, and obviously they're going to say that they're buying into it, but like, you just don't want to hear those questions because it shows that there's a little bit of a weakness there. And I agree with you. Like, I feel like Daboll's focused on the offense, and you saying he needs someone to step up and take a leadership role, it's hard to get that when you have a young quarterback, a young running back, a hurt wide receiver. You brought in a leadership quarterback like Russell Wilson, but when he's not performing, he can't really be the leader. It's kind of hard to not be able to back up and be a leader, right?
True.
And then he's got, fun Jameis Winston on the bench. So, like, it is tough. I see where you're coming from with that. There's no real leader to kind of come up there.
Right.
This is a very, very young Giants team.
Yeah. And look, credit goes to the Broncos too, right? Again, I would equate this team right now, it feels like, to the 2010 Broncos maybe, where you had Tim Tebow, who they would play like garbage for the first 3 quarters, and then the fourth quarter, they would just be some magic they put together. The beauty of it is, though, is that
Bo Nix actually
he can throw football.
Plays better than Tim Tebow.
By and large. I mean, listen, for a guy that picked him up as a quick hit in fantasy who needed a backup quarterback because Kyler Murray got hurt and Josh Allen was sitting on my bench on a bye week, I was shocked he gave me 43 points. I did not see that coming. I thought I was losing the week, and he won me the week. So thank you, Bo Nix. But nevertheless, he is a baller. I just don't know if he's a great quarterback. That's the problem.
I don't know. There's a lot of questions on him because, like I said, they do play like the 2025 Jets the first 3 quarters of the game.
They do.
And then they do play like a top team in that fourth quarter. So it's not sustainable like that.
No, they're
Bo
going.
Nix is barely improving upon from last year,
Yeah.
I would say.
No, yeah, absolutely.
Barely improving.
They're going to need a number one wide receiver at some point to emerge because I've been telling people Cortland Sutton, he's a solid number 2. I think he'd be a fantastic slot receiver, but they need a true like number one. Either Troy Franklin better emerge as the best friend to Bo Nix, or they better be able to go and trade and sign somebody that can be that threat. And defensively, I think they have the parts.
I think they're just young on defense.
That's,
They
yes.
need to come through. I would say more so they need to get the running game sorted out because R.J. Harvey seems like he's good in the receiving game, but the running game is weird. And then J.K.
Yeah.
is just underperforming as of late.
Well, and J.K. Dobbins is just like, tell me when he gets broken. Like that's kind of the problem for him. It's like, when is he going to break down next? But listen, I apologize, Carl, that your Giants lost. I think it's just unfortunately, I think the writing's on the wall that Dable's probably going to be gone. What comes next, I can't really tell you right now. We'll get to that, obviously. Ask us that question when it comes to it. I know you will because you already did in this question too. But we'll answer that at a future time because you never know. Maybe they'll give Dable another year to say, all right, you've cracked the offense. Now let's try and figure out the defensive woes, hire the next defensive coordinator. You never know, right? So as far as the Broncos go, they're the most confusing 5-2 team I've ever seen in the NFL at this point.
So I have a question for you,
Please.
Andrew. Last night we had the Chargers completely destroy the Vikings, right? so the Chargers got destroyed by the Colts on Sunday.
They did.
Just how good are the Colts to them?
Well, that's an interesting one because we had a bunch of people who were asking me that question who were, I feel like they were shouting it through their computers, if you will, like through their emails. Like, being like, how is, and it's more, I get it. It's Daniel Jones, a guy who should not have been his number 6 overall pick.
Hey, Carl, you're going to love this next part because he's going to just love Daniel Jones here for a second.
Oh, and he's giving, Carl's the guy who's watched for a while now. I've gotten emails about how much he despises Daniel Jones. Carl, if you would like to share your thoughts, you're more than happy to. If you want, send me a picture of a middle finger, too, if you want. I know you've done it before. He did it before once where Daniel Jones had one of his worst games, and he just sent me a picture of a guy holding his middle finger up. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. I understand. This Colts team, they're playing a simple football that I didn't think they would underneath a head coach that had shown the scheme of an offense that seemed so like RPO run oriented with your quarterback. Yeah, exactly. With Jalen Hurts. And yet they're basically saying, let's tear it down, keep it simple, slants over the middle, curls, the occasional, put the ball out there, use Daniel Jones' athleticism to have a rollout on a play action, let Jonathan Taylor run it between the tackles, and then the defense surprises me every time with somebody stepping up and making a play. And again, like I said for the Broncos, this team baffles me more. But after beating the Chargers, I think I have to say, they are now, I feel like, pushing towards being legitimate contenders.
Yeah, they're still cuties, but like, you know.
But this is a big win
This
because
is a
I
big
think the
win for
Chargers can still be perceived as a playoff team. And now I think you have to look at the Colts and say, well, if we're saying the Chargers are still a playoff team, then the Colts just beat them, and they beat them convincingly. So then
Score
we
does
have
not
to
represent how dominant they were in that game because the score got somewhat close because Justin Herbert got a bunch of garbage time stuff.
Right.
So, I mean, like I said, just how good are the Colts? I mean,
I think they have a
might
shot.
have the. I see it on the end, and you could probably skip right to it because it kind of goes along with it. But like, yeah, they might just have the South on lock.
I don't.
They might be on autopilot for the rest of the year in the South.
I really don't. I don't see who else in that division, and we'll get to the Texans here soon. We will. Because that whole situation is weird for sure, and I had some Texan fans who were kind of like, this is not okay. But yeah, look, that division right now is I mean, the Titans are going nowhere. They fired their head coach. I don't know what to make of Jacksonville at this point. I mean, I think there's something there, but something's off between Trevor Lawrence and Brian Thomas Jr. That's not okay. That needs to be fixed like ASAP. Liam Cohen needs to be in the war room saying, how do we get this guy open and get our quarterback to feed him the football? Because that's how you're going to be able to win games. And, yeah, the Texans we're going to get to soon, but they have just been a complete discombobbled mess. But
the Colts don't even have, like, a complete defense to me either.
no. Well, they lost Kenny Moore, one of their best DBs, and yet they've got guys who are just kind of stepping up into the role.
Well, they did bring in Cam Bynum, and Cam Bynum's like one of the most underrated safeties in
Very
the NFL.
true.
So, like, and they've had, like, a couple pieces just, like, stashed away. Like, they've had Kwity Paye just, like, waiting there for his breakout, and it's, like, finally coming.
Like, yeah, now, though. Like, it should have happened, like, 2-3 years ago.
I would say maybe last year. I wouldn't go that far because he was kind of not a project, but it was kind of like
no, but he was expected to be like a dude on that defense. Like, okay, Buckner, is he gonna be the same guy? We kind of need you to step up and be a part of this line now and get pressure. And now it's kind of like, wow, he's actually getting the job done. So I think we can start talking about the Colts as being an actual contender in the AFC. And I don't know if this team is built to make a Super Bowl run, but we've seen crazier things happen. And if they as long as they keep things simple like this, and dare I say, if Daniel Jones does not get hurt, because we know what happens if he gets hurt.
Anthony Richardson's hurt, so
that's right. He broke his eye.
Yeah, sure.
Well, he broke his eye bone, but
So I don't even know who they picked up, but
Riley Leonard.
Oh,
it's Riley Leonard time, folks.
Yeah, baby.
It's Riley Leonard time, folks. Oh, boy.
You know what else? It's Marcus Mariota time.
Oh, God. Yeah, speaking of this, couple guys, our guy Will and our guy Mike from the D.C. area were asking us about the Commanders, wondering why there has been such a drop-off from this team.
Jaden Daniels is playing hurt.
Next question.
No, like actually though, you could that is honestly mostly the reason.
Yes,
it's because Jaden Daniels is playing hurt or hurt.
It is the biggest. It is the biggest cause and effect situation right now. Is that Jaden Daniels clearly is trying to play through his injury because he knows how important he is to this offense. All of us know how important he is to that offense. Without him, they're not going anywhere. So the fact that he keeps trying to put himself out there, like a warrior, thumbs up, but at the same time, it might be time to kind of just shut it down, let him rest, and see what happens. Because Will asked the question, he said, do you think that there is a chance that we could be seeing a parallel career of Jaden Daniels to Robert Griffin III? And listen, when you look at their careers, there's a lot that lines up, right? Their last year in college, they put on a performance that puts them in the Heisman Trophy for a win. They're both number 2 picks. In their first year as rookies, they lead the Washington team to the playoffs, right? I think Robert Griffin may have won a playoff game. I don't remember. I don't have recollection.
He got hurt in the playoff game.
That's right. He did get hurt in the playoff game. That's right. But it's eerily scary close. I don't know if this is going to absolutely be that, but I can understand where there's concern on that because it's like, oh, God, we've seen this before. We've seen this storyline happen so many times before. But I don't think that's what this is. I don't think that's going to happen. I think this is just a matter of, look, this team right now is filled with a lot of guys that are somewhere between average to, at their lowest, I would say, subpar. And you're trying to fill the gaps on the offensive line. You're trying to figure out how do you fit other guys into the receiving core that aren't obviously McLaurin or Samuel, right? Your top guys. Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt is
a
fine
7th-round running back who's gonna get into it. He's not a game changer right now. He could get into it.
He feels like an Alfred Morris.
Oh, that's kind of tough, man. I'm not gonna lie, because he could be better than that.
Oh, he could be better, but right now I'm saying he feels like Alfred Morris, where you kind of go, where'd this guy come from? He's making plays. I just don't, long term, is he going to be the success plan is kind of where I'm sitting at with him. So it's tough, too, because obviously remove Jaden Daniels from the run game. I know Marcus Mariota can move, but we know he's not exactly a mover and a shaker like before. So I get it. It's tough. But look, I don't think it's a death knell for Washington that Jaden Daniels is going to be out for a little while maybe here. I think it's just kind of saying, okay, look, last year they way overshot and overachieved what they were supposed to. This year, I think they're kind of having that season they were supposed to have last year. You find more pieces in the draft, you get more guys in free agency, you'll be able to fix everything and put it all together probably in that third year, right?
And also to mention the defense, a lot of older players.
Yeah, exactly.
Marshawn Lattimore and Bobby Wagner, like your anchors.
I forgot Von Miller was on the team.
Von Miller's there. You got older players there. And again, they're putting out Benjamin St. Juste every game. He's debatably the worst corner in the NFL.
Yeah, he's fighting for it right now.
You're looking at a defense that is especially just older, and Dan Quinn obviously can run a good defense, but I think it's more so just Daniels just playing hurt, and you can't do that in the NFL and be successful.
No,
right?
No, you can't. And that's this is going to probably be a situation where he's going to have to take a couple weeks off. You're going to have to maybe take a couple losses on the chin. I mean, it's unfortunate. It may mean, yes, Dallas climbs to number 2, might even make the playoffs. And look, this is a decent Dallas team on offense. They're terrible on defense. So, I mean, if anything, Dak Prescott plays them into the playoffs maybe. But, look, this is something that you're just going to have to, I think, rest the guy, let him relax, let him get his legs underneath him, and when he feels ready, bring him back and hope maybe there's enough season left when he is back and healthy 100% that you can still make a run. And if you do, great. If you don't worry about it, because at least, if anything, the building blocks are still there. Coach, quarterback, you have the defensive line pieces already figured out, I think, too. You have pieces on your wide receivers that I think are going to work. It's just now a matter of figure out your defensive back situation, right? Figure that out, and I think you're going to be A-okay. Simple as that. So, all right, last but not least, we talked a little bit about it. Houston Texans, we didn't mention how bad they are.
C.J. Stroud trying to little brother Caleb Williams, then he turns into one of the worst quarterbacks.
Everybody's been mentioning that ever since he did the little brother thing to Caleb Williams. He has really regressed.
It's weird because, I watched that game on Monday.
Yeah.
Right? Did you watch the game live?
I didn't watch the game. I had it on in the background.
Okay.
So I was listening to it. I really wasn't watching it. I watched it back on the highlights for what they were.
CJ's weird because, you look at his first year he had.
Right.
And I like that you kind of like the same deal with Jaden Daniels, but, he's just doing it hurt.
Yeah.
You look at C.J. Stroud's first year, and you're like, wow, he's already on the verge of a top 5 quarterback.
Absolutely.
And he's making these throws that are just he make them look so easy.
Yeah.
And they're some of the toughest throws. But then you look at him now, and it's there's almost a regression, and it's he went back to some college tendencies. I don't know if that's a coaching thing to him, or if it's his side of thing, a personnel thing, because he's got a much younger wide receiver core because he lost Diggs, and Diggs, say what you want about him, Stephon Diggs he helps a quarterback look better because he is such a good veteran. Look at what he's done for Drake May. He's putting him into the upper echelon of quarterbacks this year, and he's had some stinker games, but that's just a credit to him. So, you get younger on the wide receiver part.
Right.
They don't have a running game.
Yeah.
Joe Mixon's out. They don't even know if he's coming back in 2025 this year, which I don't even know where he got to that point. He was supposed to be back by now. So you got people. I mean, Woody Marks and Nick Chubb right now just kind of underperforming. But the big deal about it is C.J. Stroud looks like he's just completely regressed.
And honestly, I think if you're going to say, well, is there a reason for that? Which obviously, look, there has to be, right? I think part of the problem might be that you have lost Bobby Slowick and you replaced him with Nick Cali, who is a first-time offensive coordinator. He was the tight ends coach for the Rams. Like, you got to remember that. And the pass game coordinator beforehand. That was the extent. And mind you this, too. Want to guess what team he played for before then? Or not played for, but coached before then? I'll give you a hint. They created a dynasty up in the Northeast. That's correct. That is kind of part of I don't know if this was a hiring choice by DeMeco Ryans, or if this was Nick Caserio, a former New England Patriot who was hired as GM, who maybe said, I know a guy who I think would be really good. I worked with him in New England, and he's in Los Angeles right now. I think he'd be good for us.
Because, this is a quicker statement
Right.
For the Texans. But, just a lot of that AFC South, they're kind of in the same position as the Jaguars.
Yeah.
I feel like we're getting to the point where we know what we're going to get out of those two, especially with Trevor Lawrence. He's not the upper echelon, but he's definitely above a lot of others.
Right.
It kind of seems like C.J. Stroud's getting into that purgatory as well, and it's just weird based off how he was that first year.
I think part of it is the loss. I think a good portion of it is the loss of the offensive coordinator. The other part of it is, too, and I think we just have to start admitting it, when it comes to Ohio State quarterbacks, there's something missing in them that doesn't translate over to the NFL. Whatever it is, I don't know, but it's not working. It doesn't mean that they're necessarily bad. C.J. Stroud can still be a good to very good, maybe even still a great quarterback. It still also means, by the way, too, for those that I know were coming at me with the Justin Fields stuff, I don't think he's necessarily a terrible quarterback, right? I don't think I think the Jets are...
There's a way to win with Justin Fields. You just have to completely buy into it.
You may have to just say we're going to have to run the ball 30 times, and he's going to have to do it 15 of those 30 times. I don't know, but I think there's a way to be able to win with these guys and for them to be successful. It's just a matter of the teams. There's changes on there, right? The Jets are just obviously terrible. With the Texans, I think you changed the offensive coordinator. You brought somebody in who hasn't done this before. He's trying to manage this situation out. And look, yeah, your wide receivers are also hurt too, right? That was also a big part of it. Two of your best guys are out. And again, who's the leading guy in this game? It's Dalton Schultz, the tight end. A lot of things here are lining up to say that I think blaming C.J. Stroud and saying he's regressing and it's his fault and this and that, there's a part of it where, yes, you have to find a way as a quarterback to overcome whatever problems you may have with the OC and the offense and all that. But I think that is a big part of it, too, because Cali is going to bring in something different where we saw with Slowick, everything seemed to be tailor-made and perfectly fitting exactly for C.J. Stroud. He hit that back foot, that ball came out.
I'd say it's about 50-50. It's 50% on
You
the
could say,
personnel they give C.J. Stroud and C.J. Stroud.
Exactly.
I think that's where I'm at with the Texans.
And I think that's fair to say. I think it's totally fair to say that. And again, like you said with the run game is kind of hit or miss here, right? Figure it out. Just figure it. Get somebody in there that can just run the dang ball. Yeah. Don't let your quarterback being your leading runner. Shouldn't happen. Should not happen.
Unless you're buying into the Justin Fields Kool-Aid.
Yes, but be very wary because you could die from that. It could be poison. All right, let's get to the weekly recap, wrap-up review. God,
Andrew, this is a great Andrew, this is a great week.
All right, let's start it off.
This is a great week.
Let's start it off. So Billy Napier's fired. Scotty could not be happier. I would tell you what he sent me as a photo when I asked him how he was feeling. I'm not going to do that. It was inappropriate, but it was also warranted in the same sense. Look, this was writing on the wall. We all knew this was coming. The fact that he beat Mississippi State only by 2 was kind of like a linchpin. And even before then, there was already ramblings that the board of directors were getting together, the boosters were getting together, and they were discussing the next option for him, which already led to the rumors saying probably by the end of the game he would have been fired. And sure enough, the next day, the news came out, Billy Napier, he's been axed. He's done.
And you know what it comes down to, Andrew? It doesn't even come down to his coaching ability. Doesn't come down to his scheming, which is god-awful. Doesn't even come down to that. It completely comes down to the fact that he destroyed the culture of the Florida Gators.
Yeah.
There is no culture on that team.
Yeah.
And
there never was, I don't think. And that's the problem, I think, there.
yeah, no, because there's always like that Florida Gators culture that they've always had.
Within the swamp in Gainesville,
Yeah.
yes. I think, though, for him, Billy
He
Napier.
never bought into that. He tried to change it,
Yes.
and he then created nothing.
Yes.
So I think that's because I mean, you can go into how bad of a coach he maybe was. You can even go into how good of a coach he was, because
Sure.
the defense is always really good.
Yeah.
You know, the
And
offense,
he always got top recruits.
yeah, I mean, that's Florida though. Every top school will always get top recruits.
All right.
I would say the major thing, the 2 things that get him fired are the lack of culture on that team.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like the personality of that team has been sucked out over the last 3 years.
Yeah.
You know? And then number 2, regression on players.
Yeah.
I mean, so many players have regressed with him on the offensive side of the ball, and the lack of taking that next step up. The Gators they've never had a top-tier run game with him. They haven't had, I mean, Montrell Johnson was great, but never got to that next level that we thought he could have. Baugh's kind of falling into that same deal, but, like, you know, still got some time with him, right?
Sure, yeah.
Lagway, next year, take this step up. Does not at all. Borderline regresses, right? The offensive line, shoddy on all facets of running the ball, pass pro, that kind of deal. But like I said, the main thing is Billy Napier just took the culture out of this team. That was my biggest complaint of him. There was no culture created with that Gators team.
No, you hit it on the nose, I think, there, Scotty. And I'll be honest, too, it was a weird sense when he did get hired. We all, I think, were optimistic that, okay, he did something at a smaller school. He can revert it over to Florida. There's like a little bit of like a mystery energy about him that he could bring in.
I liked it because I was like, that could be different for the Gators.
Right.
The Gators normally bring in the big name head coach.
Right. It wasn't an Urban Meyer.
Small to change it.
Right. It wasn't an Urban Meyer. It wasn't one of those. It was something out of the box that you're like, this may shake things up. And it did. It just shook things up in the complete and opposite direction, where it's not about, wow, look at what a pretty, it's like, wow, what a mess is in this thing. And the fact that he still managed to get some of these guys, and I know it's still Florida, but the fact that he still got guys like L.J. McCray and DJ Lagway and Dallas Wilson and Vernon Brown III, all these guys to still commit and stay there despite all the problems they had, is pretty impressive. But that's also, I think, possibly due to the fact that these guys are getting paid a hell of a lot of money from the NIL, no doubt, too.
Which is fine, because I'll tell you what, when they fired Billy Napier and then DJ Lagway came out and said, I'm a Gator, I was fully on board.
That's a promising look. Now you just got to bring in the right guy. But outside of that, just real quick, there's some coaches that obviously are possibly on the hot seat still here too. And one of them happens to be possibly the guy that coaches my team, who I'm going to say right now, there's 3 coaches, Brian Kelly for LSU, there is Mike Norvell from Florida State, and Hugh Freeze from Auburn, who all, I think, are borderline possibly getting canned. Now, that doesn't mean...
Borderline. The exact same coach.
Now, that doesn't mean they're going to get fired, because I think every single one of these universities can come up with an excuse as to why to keep them.
Especially Auburn.
Especially Auburn, which it sounds like they're going to try and make every excuse they can to keep Hugh Freeze. And I feel like the excuses they're coming up with are like not built within the way they're talking. They're more of reflecting on, well, he was good at Ole Miss, and yeah, but that was during the days when he was paying players under the table. It's tough because Auburn has been in games, and yet at the same time, they've had missed opportunities to be able to take advantage. And you wonder, is it because of the player personnel or is it because of his coaching ability? Because he did the same thing when he was at Ole Miss.
And that's why I say that, those three guys are borderline the same coach, because they are guys that can take your team so far,
right?
But you just can't get them over the hump. It kind of feels like they are all of that same kind of coach.
Yeah.
Because I know that's how you're feeling with Brian Kelly
and
LSU, because, this is a team I said could contend. But right now, they just don't have that oomph. They don't have that extra with them.
Yeah. And listen, from Brian Kelly, again, just real quick on these guys. With Mike Norvell, it feels like he had his opportunity. Unfortunately, everything aligned perfectly for that one season. You lost your quarterback. Whether they made the playoff that year or not, I don't think they were winning it, nevertheless. And when it comes to Brian Kelly, I never liked the hire in the first place. He never felt like LSU. It never felt like it was a good fit. Does he get the recruits in? Fine, yes. Does he find a way to be able to help this team win from time to time? Sure, absolutely. But he's always good for that other opportunity to shoot yourself in the foot. And that has constantly been my problem with him. He always looks like he has the chance to put this team in a good position. And then immediately in those games that it's supposed to count are where he fades. And right now he has a losing record against ranked teams. And you can't have that in the SEC of all places. Every one of these losses hurt, and they hurt even worse when it's obviously against your conference opponents. I don't know if these guys are getting – there's only one coach right now that I think is hot seat. He's out the door, and he doesn't know it, and that's Luke Fickell of Wisconsin. Right place, right time at Cincinnati. He fits in at Wisconsin like a square peg with a circle. Like it's not working. He wants to run a modern-day pro passing offense. They're a 3 yards and a cloud of dust ground team that plays good defense. That's how they've always been. If Brett Bielema was going there, oh, you bet. Let's go to Wisconsin. You've got Luke Fickell, who's trying to make them the Ohio State of the West. It's not going to happen. It won't work. He's the only one that's right now for sure getting fired. Other guys have saved their job. It's credible. All right, moving on from that. Quickly on the SEC battles. Obviously, look, this was a week for the SEC. Because, like I said, you got LSU, who drops another one to Vanderbilt. But Vanderbilt plays their best game. Give them credit. Diego Pavia puts in the work. He is never say die. Clark Leah is a real good coach. And LSU, and I will say, yeah, Garrett Nussmeier probably playing hurt, but all the same still, this is an LSU team that should have found a way to be able to beat this Vanderbilt team.
Yeah, there's no excuse for that.
It's resiliency.
It's I know they're playing a lot better, but at the end of the day, it is Vanderbilt.
Exactly.
Like, they don't have the backing of LSU.
Yeah.
They don't have the star power of LSU. You
Yeah.
should be able to handle them.
This does feel like the Luke Fickell Cincinnati team where it's like, yeah, they're really outplaying here. It's just incredible that they're doing it in this conference. So
yeah, like any other conference makes sense.
Yeah.
SEC?
SEC is, yeah, this is weird. This is weird. Real quick, Bama tears through Tennessee.
Could have told you that.
Ty Simpson's really playing very well. But
I
Todd
was wrong about him. He's came into his own.
Well, Todd McShay said he was Joe Burrow 2.0.
Right.
I think he might be on something because I still see Mac Jones out of this kid. Like, good quarterback for college, absolutely. He can put the ball on the money. Can he do it at the pro level? I wouldn't take him in the first round. I would not. But I have my suspicion on a lot of these guys. Georgia beat Ole Miss. I called it last week. I said Lane Kiffin's good for dropping one when he really needs it. This is the one that he needed. Can they bounce back? Sure, maybe, fine, but this is a Georgia team that's starting to find their offense through Gunnar Stockton. They actually have receivers. I know, crazy.
Oh, they haven't had that since they had the Ridleys.
I know, that's insane. So, I don't know if Ole Miss can bounce back. I think they're going to probably drop at least another game, maybe two more. Georgia, I think they might be en route to play for the SEC championship because the last team here on it, Texas A&M. I'm sorry. This is supposed to be a historically good defense for them. They let 42 get on them against Arkansas.
Yeah, and that Arkansas offense is really underwhelming as well, so
Yeah.
that's kind of embarrassing.
And that's Bobby Petrino, baby.
Yeah, come on. I mean, they also kind of struggled with Florida, so.
Yeah. And listen, I still like Taylor Green. I just don't like him in Arkansas anymore.
Nah.
I like him anywhere else that's not Arkansas, please. Like, dude's incredible.
Andrew, I'm not going to lie. I was watching that Miami game in the bar, and I was getting really frustrated. Now, I was drinking, but, I was getting really frustrated.
Yeah.
I'm not even a Miami fan. I hate Miami, but I was actually getting really frustrated.
Yeah, Miami dropping this one to Louisville. This was hard because, listen, a lot of you guys I know hit me up with, oh, you were calling them the only other team with Ohio State, the best team, and now what do you think? Listen, I still think they're a very good team, but this is obviously what we know Carson Beck to be right.
Yeah.
This is what we know him to be. And he threw some very bad balls in here. Some of them were just kind of like, man, that's a good interception. But he threw some bad balls in here. And look, even still, Miami stuck in this game. They could have won this. They could have won this game. Had they gone to more of their ground game with Fletcher, I think they would have won it. But this is where, if you rely too much on Carson Beck, I like Malachi Toney, I like CJ Daniels, you just got to let this Miami team go and not rely so heavily on Carson Beck. Let him be a part of the offense. Don't let him be the offense. And Ruben Bain is crazy.
Andrew, I'm going to shout out two games before we move on.
Yeah.
That Notre Dame game was fantastic. Just the back and forth of it.
That was a big win for them. That's a prove it for me.
That's a prove it win. And again, I mean, they're going to sneak into the college football playoff, whether you like it or not.
Unfortunately.
And then shout out BYU Utah for basically being game of the weekend.
Absolutely.
I mean, the energy in Mormon country was great. I mean, that quarterback is, I don't know what to think of him because he's so.
Bear Bachmeier's a fun dude.
He's so weird. Who wears 47 as a quarterback, bro?
He does. He does.
What are you doing as a Mormon?
It's like when we saw that kid.
That on the tablets, like your quarterback must wear 47 to take down Utah.
Apparently. And go undefeated. Which I was going to say, credit to these teams, too, the surprise winners like Georgia Tech and BYU. Those are huge. Other ones not undefeated, but they are surprise winners. You've got Virginia, South Florida. Cincinnati is 6-1, believe it or not. Not 6-1, but 5-2. The Yukon Huskies. You've got the 6-1 Houston Cougars. 4-2, well now 5-2 Northwestern Wildcats. North Texas obviously having themselves a good year. And shout out to the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors as well.
Oh,
just want to make sure to give them love.
One more,
please.
UMass, you're such a disappointment. Did you see what happened to them this weekend? UMass is winless. They're like the worst team in the nation, right?
Absolutely.
They got a game-winning interception with 1:34 left, and they lost.
Yeah, because that's what UMass does, baby. Meanwhile, if you're a UAB fan, congratulations, you've got your football team back. Shout out to Alex Mortensen. That was huge. I love it. Never thought Trent Dilfer was going to do it. I believe in Alex Mortensen, though. And awesome, too, on ESPN2, where your father covered every single – that is huge. That's awesome. That's huge. So, shout out to them. That's the weekly recap wrap-up review. Let's get into it. The pick six, and then we're going to get out of here because I got a radio show to do, and Scotty's got to probably get to work. Cool. Well, that's happening. All right.
Hey, there's one important game you don't have on here.
Which is?
North Dakota State versus South Dakota State,
I'm
baby.
not going to listen to I know it's a big game. I know.
Number 1 versus number 2.
I know. It is a big game for sure. I just didn't. I misread. All right, let's rip through these real quick. I know we do the honorable mentions. Let's do this real fast. Number 8, Ole Miss against number 13, Oklahoma. Right now, 5.5 towards Oklahoma. 52.5 is the over/under. Scotty?
I still don't think Mateer's just fully healthy, to be honest.
Okay.
Like I want to take, I want to take Ole Miss. I think this could be a really good get back game for them. I am gonna take Ole Miss. I don't think Mateer's fully healthy yet.
Okay.
And I think that's just holding back Oklahoma right now. So I'm gonna take Ole Miss. Give me that under though.
All right. I'm also going to take the under. I will also take Ole Miss. I'll take Ole Miss by a touchdown on this. Defense saves the day possibly for Oklahoma, but like you said, John Mateer doesn't look healthy. Looks like he's trying to play through injury. A lot of quarterbacks are trying to do that right now. Don't worry about saving your season as a quarterback. Try and save your season for your team. So I think he's going to possibly get hurt again too, which is my worry because he's a good quarterback. Next, number 15, Missouri. Number 10, Vanderbilt. This could end up being game of the week. We'll see. But right now, Vanderbilt, 2.5-point favorites. Another over-under at 52.5. Scotty, who you taking?
Over. I could see this being like a Goff Mahomes game, to be honest.
Yeah, it could be.
This could be like a crazy scoring game.
Absolutely.
I think this is like a 3 o'clock slot at Vanderbilt.
2:30.
Yeah, the 3 o'clock slot because they're in Tennessee. That's
Right.
an hour before. Yeah, Vanderbilt. Just Vanderbilt. I think they could win it by that 3, so I'm just gonna take that 2.5. I love Missouri. I've shouted them out on here a bunch this year already, but Pavia's just on a roll, man. And with College Game Day going there, the vibes are gonna be crazy.
Yeah. I will take the over on this as well. I'll take Vanderbilt. I'll take Vanderbilt by 5, let's say. Let's put the points to 5, I guess, on this one. Missouri makes it a game, but Vanderbilt, the magic's there. Pavia's on his end. Stowers is going to be a guy for the NFL. I can't say that enough. That dude is super athletic. If you're seeing what Gatskin's doing right now for the Chargers, same thing I think he can do, and he's just smaller tight end, too. He possibly can move to wide receiver and be that jump ball guy. Next, number 11, BYU at Iowa State. You're wondering, this should be a blowout, right? Wrong. Iowa State favored by 2.5. The over-under's at 49.5 because this is in Ames, Iowa.
Yeah.
So how are you taking on this one, Scotty?
BYU's just rolling so high right now. I don't think that ISU can stop them. Although I kind of like the under for this one, just because the output from both teams has not been impressive this year in terms of high scoring. It's been a lot of low-scoring games for both teams. So I am going to take the under, but I'm going to take BYU by 3.
Okay. I will also take BYU. I'm also going to take them by 3 on this one, too. I don't see where Iowa State, they've played fine, but they've also played pretty messy in a lot of these bigger games that they should be able to win. This should be a game that they should be able to fight into, but I think BYU still finds a way to get the edge. Bear Bachmeier's playing very well, too, so keep that in mind. BYU's playing out of their mind, crazy good stuff, and like you said, good energy there. Next game, I only put this on here because this is insane. Minnesota's playing against Iowa. I didn't even realize Iowa had such a good record. I should have because Gronowski's a really good quarterback. But they've got an 8.5 point.
Really good is questionable.
Yeah, I know. Listen, I know him, so I'm saying he's a really good quarterback.
Okay.
You can't even see my thumbs up. All right, 8.5 point favorites to Iowa. 39.5 is the over/under. Scotty.
This is peak Iowa football, baby.
It's in Iowa City, too.
Yeah, that 8.5 ain't gonna last though. I got Iowa by 1.
Okay.
Not because that's just what Iowa does. We're gonna get into it later about another team, although they do look a little different. But same colorway, same color scheme, kind of give off the same energy in college football. Iowa just has all close games. That 39 is so low. It's crazy, but I am going to take the under.
That's fair. Yeah, I'm going to. Oh, God. I'll go with Minnesota. I'll go with Minnesota maybe to be able to pull the upset. I'll say Minnesota by 1. I think they pull it off by 1. I think this hits the under. It's going to be a sloppy game. It just feels like it's going to be ugly.
Got 2017. Like, that's what I got. 2017 Iowa.
I got like a 16-9 game or something. Or
1916.
Yeah, something like that. Like it's like or 1918. Like it's like a field goal to win it because of a 2-point conversion. I don't know, something goofy. All right, next we've got Number 3, Texas A&M. Number 20, LSU. A&M only 2.5-point favorites. The over-under's at 48.5. Scotty, who are you taking, man?
Texas A&M's favored in this one. And they should be, I guess. But I am going to take LSU.
Okay.
I think them just being at home is the difference for me.
Okay.
Although, I think it barely hits the under. Barely. Like, I'm looking at like a 45, 46-point game.
Okay. All right.
Just because Texas A&M's defense is pretty good, but I think down the stretch, LSU can be clutch enough to win.
I'm also going to take LSU in this game. I know. I just got done saying what I said. I know. Look, it's a night game at LSU in Death Valley. I know this has not really been their forte with the Aggies, but I feel confident that maybe this team can find a way to bounce back. I don't know if Nussmeier is going to be healthy. I hope he is. If he is, I think they have a shot. If he's not, it's going to be a little bit rougher. So I'm going to say LSU, 1.5. I'll say it just hits the over on this. Because I think there's a little bit more offense going now for A&M, but I think LSU can find a little bit more magic to go their way. And the defense might score some points on this one, too. Keep that in mind. Last but not least, the only NFL game I had worth noting on this, other than one more, but this just felt like more of the big one. Green Bay at Pittsburgh, return of Aaron Rodgers.
Well, return. It's in
right.
Pittsburgh.
It's at Pittsburgh, but it's basically a manifested revenge game of some sort, I guess. I don't know. But Green Bay is favored right now in this one by 2.5, and the over-under's at 45.5. Scotty?
Hop all over that. Hop all over Pittsburgh in this game. Because let me tell you something. This Green Bay team plays down so bad. They should not have been in a game against Arizona. With Jacoby Brissett at quarterback, they should not have been in a game.
Yeah.
They should not have been in a close game with Cleveland that they eventually lost.
Right.
For some reason, this team isn't hitting. I think the coaching staff doesn't know how to use Micah Parsons because they kind of just throw him in the same spot. Now they're like, oh, we should move him around. Yeah, you should have been doing that week 1.
Yeah.
I mean, and then, honestly, the only thing on offense that's consistent is Josh Jacobs.
Yeah.
Jordan Love, as much as I don't like him, like, again, there's sometimes where I'm just right about this guy. He's just not that good. He is not playing to what everyone thought he was going to be, taking another step up. He's in quarterback purgatory right now. I don't know what his deal is.
No, that's
They give him a new wide receiver, and they can barely use him.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair, honestly.
I'm taking the Steelers on this one. I'm taking them by 6. But I might hammer that under, though.
Okay. I like the under in this game for sure. I will also take the Steelers. I'll take them by 3 because I think there will be some resilience from the Packers to try and get one over on Rodgers. But I think at the end of the day, Steelers will prevail. I just don't know how good this game will naturally be, but I think it could be a dogfight between these two. So, yeah, I'll say Steelers by 3, hits the under. The Jordan Love situation is just, it's tough. It's really tough. But it also doesn't help, too, when they still have not been able to identify a number 1 wide receiver. Some honorable mentions, just real quick. Northwestern, Nebraska, 5-2 fight between those two teams. Number 18, UCF against Memphis. Actually could be a very good game, believe it or not.
That could be a very good game in the Liberty Bowl.
Yes. I've mentioned Auburn and Arkansas because if you cannot beat Arkansas, Bobby Petrino led Arkansas, that is the end of Hugh Freeze, I have to believe. 23, Illinois against Washington.
They should handle Washington.
They should.
It's in Washington, so you
and
never
DeMond
know.
Williams is still a good quarterback.
Because you want to know what? Here's a good point. Ohio State kind of struggled with Washington in Washington. But Ohio State did not struggle with Illinois. So where's Illinois going to be in that? Because now they're playing in Washington. Yeah. This is going to tell you a lot about Illinois in this game.
Absolutely. And then you've got, last of the colleges, I had Houston against number 24, Arizona State. This has now become a very interesting game because from what I understand, Jordan Tyson is likely out for this game. Your top receiver's out. I know it's Arizona State. Dillingham is a much better coach, sure.
He'll find a way. That Houston team is kind of embarrassing, not going to lie.
The Houston team may find a way to be able to do it. They have good players. And Connor Wegman kind of finding himself again. Not perfect, but he's finding himself again.
Not perfect over a whole game.
No, not perfect over a whole game, but he seems to find a way to put the ball in the end zone. And that counts for it. Last NFL game I'll mention, Dallas at Denver. It just feels like that could be the most confusing mess of a game that could actually be interesting. If that makes any sense, I don't know. But that's kind of where I'm at. Like, Dallas could actually be really good with their offense, and somehow the Denver Broncos come back and win the game. They just did it against the Giants, just to say they can't do it against the Cowboys. I have no clue how that game will go, but that's the only NFL game I really had. Last final thoughts before we get out of here. UFC 321. It's this weekend. Aspinall, Gane, Scotty.
Gone.
Quick final
Gone.
words you got.
Gone.
Really?
Yeah. No. I'm saying it's
Oh.
gone because you said Gane.
He's gone. Okay.
No, dude.
I was going to say,
Nah,
we just had a little. Yeah.
Tommy Aspinall. Tommy Aspinall. This is my favorite fighter right now. Like, I mean, he hasn't fought in a year and 2 months. Doesn't matter. This guy is incredible to watch. This will be the quickest heavyweight fight in a long time.
Yeah.
It's going to be so good to see the heavyweight fight back in it, because no matter how bad the division is, if the heavyweight division's on, you're going to watch it.
Absolutely.
Especially at the top tier.
Yeah, absolutely. This should be a good one. The card looks really strong as far as the main event.
Of course it is. It's in Abu Dhabi. What would you expect?
Yeah, of course. Why not? Yeah, Aspinall, I feel like should take this one fairly easily. My personal opinion. Nothing against Gagne. He's still a great fighter, but
Cyril Gane just is not a complete fighter.
no, that's Tom is yes, and that's why, like he said, his next opponent is going to be interesting. Not going to be John though. John's going to have to wait. Old man John's going to have to wait his turn.
John's going to go fight Poatan at the White House for no reason.
God.
Just because Poatan can't grapple, that's why John Jones is going to. Yeah, that's your GOAT. He only picks his opponents who haven't fought in 4 years, who didn't even want to fight him. Cyril Gane didn't want to fight him.
Yeah.
Stipe didn't fight in 4 years.
I was going to say, why
fought
don't
him,
fight Stipe again?
And then Pereira has 0 ground game, so he wants to fight him.
Unbelievable.
That's your GOAT right there.
All right.
No. But, hey, I sent this to you this week. Tom Aspinall could really start a huge run here. This is a guy who's beaten, I mean, the joke is he's beaten 8 guys in the top 5. But, like, legitimately, he's destroyed the heavyweight division just on his way there. There are currently only 3 fighters that he has not fought in the top 10.
Yeah. He could have
Other
one of
than
those.
Cyril Gane, but he's
Right.
Obviously it's 4 with Gane, but he's fighting him tomorrow.
But that's the thing.
There's only 3 others.
After this, he goes on this run where he could possibly just destroy the competition in front of him, and we see him have some title defenses against some dudes. I mean, he may have a chance to be able to challenge as one of the greatest heavyweights and maybe one of the greatest fighters of all time when it's all said and done. He's in his prime. Now's the time. There you go. That's a rhyme for you. I should have stopped after rhyme. I know, damn. All right, let's get out of here because I'm sure these guys are probably clowning me on the show. I figured. All right, I love you guys nevertheless. That's going to do it for us here on the X-Bomb Sports Live Show. Thank you all so much for listening. Thank you all so much for watching. We will see you guys next Friday, as always, every time, bringing you guys the best and always and the brightest of what we have for the show. Check us out, YouTube and Twitch. You guys know where to find us at this point every Friday. Find us on all the social media site at X-Bomb Sports, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, all that good stuff. And, of course, too, ladies and gentlemen, xbsportsofficial@gmail.com. We appreciate the questions, the comments, things like that, ladies and gents. With that, too, make sure to go see me now on Blow the Whistle. We're going to pack it up. I'm going to get over there. Make sure the guys get their chance to make fun of me. I'll make fun of them. We're going to have a good time talking more sports. As always, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you next Friday. Thank you all so much for listening and watching. And as always, much love. Peace out, Boom Crew.